Namaskaram and happy Friday, everybody. I have my gold B and black shirt on. It's very Venusian. Friday is a very Venusian day. So practice self-care, which includes, trying to feel like you're looking good, right? Look good, feel good. Get out, exercise to the best of your capabilities. If you have health problems, talk with your healthcare team about it first. Um, So today I was going to talk about communication, which I touched on in yesterday's episode. But I felt moved to talk about um, personality disorders. And I'm really just going to do surface level, like just touching on really not even actual personality disorders, because those are very rare. They nowadays people throw it out left and right. Sociopath, antisocial, narcissist. I touched on this in posts and other episodes that it is thrown out there way too freely. And one of my Facebook friends from high school, she came up with a very clever name for her profile account. And anyways, it is an inability of people to cope with their own crap, that they have to adopt this victim mentality and then blame this other person. They're a narcissist. They're borderline personality disorder, or they're antisocial, or it's not that I'm a big fan of the DSM-5, which is the diagnostic manual that all like healthcare practitioners, mental health care practitioners, are supposed to go by when diagnosing their patients with various psychological disorders. That will be a different episode too. I know. Lots of episodes on the horizon. That's a good thing, though. There's lots to talk about. So, excuse me. Need to work on my throat chakra. I always have throat problems. Personality disorders are extremely rare, though. I think most of the time, statistically, it's like less than 1% of the population. But don't be fooled, because as my Facebook friend pointed out, TikTok education will have you believe that it's more like 20%. It's absurd. No, it's not. Now, everybody, because we're human, we have certain levels of like narcissism or borderline traits or antisocial traits, even paranoid traits, obsessive traits. Like that is part of the human condition. And some of those traits will come out in certain situations with certain people, certain locations. A lot of people will be borderline-ish in romantic relationships, probably because in their childhood, they had a very unstable home, especially with the parents. And it was probably so chaotic that they just didn't know like really like how to navigate romantic situations and entanglements without that chaos. So things go, extreme, especially in those kinds of households with that kind of, those kinds of parents, or that kind of marriage or relationship, whatever it is. If there's like a lot of highs and a lot of lows and it just goes back and forth, that's your blueprint that you're operating off of, right? So you are going to probably carry that on into your own relationships until you learn how to process that, digest it, and transmute that energy and all that angst, all that disappointment, all that pain into healthier relationships, healthier communication, right? Emotional regulation. And that can, unfortunately, it can take many years, decades, and for some people, a lifetime, or, with my beliefs as a Hindu, it can take lifetimes to actually work through that, unfortunately. But that's great on the other hand because we get all of these opportunities to improve, to grow, to learn, right? Step into our higher selves. So, excuse me. And then narcissism. We all have certain levels of narcissism. Do we not? I mean, we want to look good, feel good, be proud of ourselves and our accomplishments. If there's like two people vying for, a love interest, right? You want to showcase your great qualities. Like, why should you pick me and not that other person, right? And so you start to get into your ego, which narcissism or narcissistic traits really feeds off of your ego, right? And so it starts feeding off that, and so you start to get a little bit of a grandiose, I'm center of the world point of view, and your behaviors start to, if you're not careful, they start to become very apparent, like you're full of yourself. One thing that on the sidebar, tangential sidebar, I like to do that. So just settle down at puglove313, and spelled LUV, by the way. Just settle down, okay? You don't want to hear my sidebars. You don't have to watch. Please do subscribe, like, comment, even if it's trolling, because the algorithm still works in my favor when you comment. So there's this term that's being used a lot now called covert narcissism. Like these, narcissistic personality disorder people have just gotten so good at flying underneath the radar that, they fool everybody. I do believe that exists, but again, actual narcissistic personality disorder, that is, I would say it's on the rise, but it's still very, very small portion of the population anywhere globally. A lot of people will disagree with that, but I feel like most of the people that are going to push back and say, no, Justin, no, Arjun, you're wrong because I suffered that with my ex. Sorry, PugLove313, but you probably played a part in how toxic that relationship got. Statistically speaking, both from professional and personal experience, you probably played a part in that too, all right? And when you're pushing each other to be toxic, like those traits, whatever, personality-ish traits are going to come out. All right, because you're operating on a lower operating system and not your higher operating system. So this covert narcissism thing, I think it's a scapegoat. It's a cop-out for people not to take accountability, which I've talked about, for their own crap, or their own part in that. I'm not trying to defend anybody that's, become very toxic, which is another term I find myself using it a lot, but that's because it's so overused, like gaslighting. But you start to, I would say, if people are becoming very, very manipulative and toxic and emotionally abusive, like legitimately, like it's scarring you, for life potentially. Obviously I'm not condoning that. I'm not defending those people. But you yourself have probably done that too. And one thing that's been a hard lesson for many of us is learning how to walk away, detach. As soon as someone is crossing your boundaries and disrespecting you, showing that they really don't, even deep down, if they love and care for you, if their actions are like either major, boundary crossing, habitual crossing, or they've done and said things that are extremely disrespectful and hurtful, time to peace out. Seriously, peace the F out. Okay? Get out of that situation. Maybe you guys can regroup later. Yeah. When you're like calm, cool, collected in your higher self, good luck. Because I think getting closure and resolution is so important. That is another topic I will talk about in the future too, is that nobody wants well, I shouldn't say that. I find that there's usually one side in a situation that wants closure and the other one's just like, again, peace out, but it's an unhealthy kind of detachment. Those are avoidance. And they think, oh, this was the best thing, just to wash my hands of it, erase every trace of this person, whitewash the history and actual events, and just go on my way. La-di-da-di-da. That's fantasy land talk. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is unhealthy. Please don't do that. And the exact opposite side, which I've touched on, don't death grip it, okay? It is just going to make it worse as well. Learn how to detach. But for the avoidance, please learn how to process things, digest it, and try to get closure for the both of you, okay? Back to personality disorder traits. Again, we all have these traits. We do. You may not want to, admit that and agree with me on it. That's okay. That's your right. I encourage you to, though, really introspect and reflect. Okay? Because I'm sure all of you that are listening to this have exhibited those traits, probably many times throughout your life. Again, that's human. It's okay. But being able to recognize that and then say, okay, either about yourself or the other person that you have problems with, okay, that was a bit shallow, that was a bit, self-centered, or that was like you're showing no empathy or sympathy, that's very concerning. Try to reground yourself, step back for a moment, go for a walk, even for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just go clear your head, right? And then be like, okay, I'm going off the rails there. I'm not operating in my higher self. And then try again. And again, I will talk about communication, healthier communication. And you'll probably recognize, yeah, okay, I was in my ego, or I was just so hurt that I was detaching from this person that I have so much love, but also so much pain. There's so much pain and love surrounding this person that I just had to completely cut off and detach and act like they're garbage, like they're a tumor that needs to be removed. And I don't even think of them as human, okay? So I think there are probably very few of you who have never gone down that road, never exhibited those traits. And if many of you are saying, not me, I think, I don't know, I think you need to really, really do some introspection there. All right, I think you're avoiding some hard truths. I think there is some hurt that has activated a defense mechanism or layers of coping and defense mechanisms. Or maybe it's even just amalgamated into this persona. I see this so much. It's this persona that is built up of layers of coping and defense mechanisms. And your true self is so buried underneath that, I think you've forgotten who you really are, who your higher self is. And you'll blame shift and you'll say, it was all this person, they were the cause of all my, pain and suffering, all my stress. I could do no wrong, I think that they're not saying that they're perfect. They're not saying I'm perfect, but they're refusing to take any accountability or responsibility. And if there's any mention of You know, what you did was wrong or bad or hurtful or effed up. It it triggers them, and that's another word that's overused. But I just speaking to the masses, everybody can relate to this. It it sets something off in them where it's like, no, 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 I can't go down this road of being made to feel bad again. You know, like I should be made to feel guilty or ashamed. So no, nope, nope, nope. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it because that's toxic. That is manipulative and abusive. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, calm down. Twin flame DM2DF. Right? I'm just thinking again, random usernames. I don't know if these actually exist. They might. Uh, you know, just because someone's calling you out on your BS does not mean that they're manipulative. And I think that is actual true love and respect when, and you have to communicate it well. I'm not saying that I've done that every time perfectly. I think we've all been there. We could have said something probably a little bit more tactful, you know, more polite, respectful. But in that heated moment, it comes out kind of nasty. And, you know, you can say things where you're calling somebody out that you care about and be like, whoa, I really think you're not acting in your higher self. What you're doing is blame shifting. What you're doing is manipulative. Or it's going to lead you down a road that is, you're going to see people like, you're going to have confrontations more and more with people, whatever it is. And by you doing that, you're showing that you care about this person and that you're feeling from them like, this, I don't feel good about how this person is acting towards me, behaving towards me, the things that they're saying or doing. So you're, one, sticking up for yourself and your boundaries. But then two, you're trying to redirect them to be in their higher selves because you care about them. Nowadays, though, and more, it seems like people are just like, oh my God, how dare you? You're so bad. I'm just like, that's. And then you start to feel like you're the big at $ hole. See, YouTube, I'm abiding by your community policies and rules. And you start, like, that is, if anything, that's also very manipulative. So I just want people to really, like, dial it back. Wind. It's real. Yeah, it's just wind. That's just started up here. But, you know, it's a beautiful little park pond, and we got the foothills of the Appalachians back there. Beautiful day, beautiful day. I'm gonna hold it. So yeah, just dial it back a bit about all this personality disorder stuff, because guaranteed you've displayed that yourself probably many times. Now, I'm not saying, again, I've met patients and people who legitimately have lived with someone that was antisocial or borderline or like narcissistic personality disorder. I have, but it's like very few. And I'm going to try to put this to where I'm not going to really like trigger or piss off, people that are like, I don't know. Anyways, when I've worked or met in public people that have a legit, like I've gone through the checklist in my head, and I'm like, oh, that is a personality disorder. It is a visceral reaction, and you can almost see it behind their eyes. There is something behind their eyes that is, it's like there's no, there's like something missing there. And it would make sense that something is missing because people with personality disorders, when we think about their neurophysiology, like I, dollars to donuts, there is something wrong with the wiring there. Because people that have personality disorders don't recognize that they do. Whereas people who question, am I being narcissistic? Am I being so and so? That is a good sign. Yeah, you might be displaying a lot of those traits and you got to work on them. Very true. But people that do question that and try to introspect and reflect and then, work on it in therapy or with whomever or whatever, that's a very good sign. That's a healthy sign that you may have issues, but you recognize it and you're working on it. Personality disorder people, legitimate ones, they literally do not know that they have that disorder or that there is a problem. And most of the treatment, this is where fake it till you make it actually is beneficial for people like that. Because they just need retraining, like reprogramming, to learn how to act like other people, to feel, and it's not even, many times it's not even like genuine when it does click for them. One of my favorite shows, Dexter, that is a great example. He survived and was under the radar. That's a covert antisocial personality disorder person. Like, he was trained by his father on how to act and look normal. But he was this, serial killer that really like enjoyed it. I mean, he was taking out the bad guys, so it's kind of like, meh. Yeah, that's not going to be a common opinion among the masses, but and I'll talk about that too in Hinduism. Like, certain people come to this life or this earth, because things have gotten so bad that it's like, it's kind of like, shaking the bee's nest or the hive, and try to, yeah, I'll get to that later. That's a whole big tangent. But Dexter, like, he had to be trained years and years and years to appear normal, right? And he did have like real genuine love and sympathy and empathy for certain people where it was more natural, but it was very isolated outliers. For the most part, he was just playing a part. He was being an actor. Very few people are like that, okay? That it isn't ridiculously hard to get somebody who has a personality disorder to be like, well, everybody says I have a problem. I don't believe it, but hey, I'm going to go get help for it. It's affected my life to where I don't think they're right and I'm wrong, but if this gets me to having a better life, then so be it. Like, most of the time, that's what happens. So most of the time, these people don't get help or the help that they need. It is very rare, okay? Please stop overusing that, right? And trying to escape your accountability and responsibility. And it's not even like, if you were truly being healthy and you just got sucked into a, toxic relationship, like, I hate to say it, but we all have a responsibility to walk away, all right? Once you recognize this is not good for anybody here, it is your job to walk away from that. It's not their job to change and then, apologize, be sorry for it. That's another lesson that's hard for many of us to learn, is like, some people don't change and sometimes you won't get the closure that you want or deserve. Unfortunately. It sucks, I know. It does. But just if you don't like this relationship, walk away. Okay? Walk away from it. Try to be calm, cool, collected. Give your reason and then just walk away. But then also, please take accountability for your own crap, okay? You're not perfect. Your poop doesn't smell like roses. Nobody's, well, unicorns maybe. But, all right. Yep, 25 minutes. Adios, muchachos. I wish you the best on your journeys. I do. I'm saying this because I care. Okay, not because I like to be a, at symbol, $ hole. Many people will claim that I am, or just a weirdo, which is also true. But I do care. Best to you all, everybody. Till next time.